It's time for your Low Country real estate market update. It's the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show. Brian is one of the top 1% real estate agents in Charleston. Find him online at listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Or call him at 843-345-1273. Now, broadcasting from the WTMA studios, here's your host, Brian Beatty.
Good morning, Charleston. You're listening to the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA. Thanks for joining me. I'm your host, Brian Beatty. I've been doing this for, 3-4 years now. Been selling real estate in the Charleston area for the past 10 years. Been in the top 1% of agents here for the past 6 going on 7. So I use this radio show as an opportunity to share my experiences with you and to help you understand the real estate market better so that if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, or if you just like to stay informed with what's going on in our market, this is the platform for you. This is so you can listen and learn about all things housing. So if there's anything I can do for you from a real estate perspective, I invite you to give me a call. I am taking phone calls over the next hour. The number here in the studio is 843-556-1250. 843-556-1250. If you'd like to discuss anything with me off air, you're considering hiring an agent, or you just have a general knowledge question you'd like to speak about in private, please call me at 843-345-1273. Again, that's 843-345-1273. Now, if you'd like more information on me, if you're thinking about selling your home, I encourage you to go to my website, listingsincharleston.com. And on that website, you can learn more about who I am, what I do, what I've sold. And if you're thinking about selling your home, click on the Sell Your Home tab. You can learn more about my 59-day home sale guarantee at 4.5% commission. So listingsincharleston.com is the website to go to. Let me give you a quick idea of what I'm going to talk about over the next hour. First things first, I'm going to talk with Andrew Muller of Mappus Insurance about my own personal insurance situation. A good story there and some lessons to be learned. A little later on in the program, I'm going to give you a full market update, which is something I do once a month. We go through the real nitty-gritty of the numbers associated with our market, what's going on with price, inventory, closings, so on and so forth. A little bit later on, we're going to talk about this process called buying a listing. What does that mean for you as a seller, or what does that mean for real estate agents? And then we're going to have Bill Sandvig on the line a little later on with Movement Mortgage, who has a show right before me. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into the lending side of things in this market. But for right now, we've got Andrew Muller on the line with Mappus Insurance. Andrew, you there?
Good morning, Brian.
Good morning. Thanks for joining me. So, Andrew, I messed up. We're going to tell a story about me and my own personal decisions and how that may have really negatively impacted me. So here's the short version of the story. I bought a house with my wife from a for sale by owner several months ago, and we did a large scale renovation to it before we moved in, and moved in several months ago. And, it's a house that's on the water and it's got a pool in the backyard. And so when we secured the insurance, you had a very specific requirement, and that was that I remove the diving board. Well, correct. I didn't want to remove the diving board. I said I was going to, and I knew that was part of my insurance policy. But you know what? I wanted to have a little fun this summer. So it was fun going back to my younger days, and after a beer or two, doing some front flips off the diving board. But anyways, that's not either here nor there. But anyway, so moving this story along, I get a knock on my door a few weeks ago from an inspector for the insurance company. She says, "Hi, I'm here to do a physical inspection of your property." First time that's ever happened to me. And I'm thinking, oh, crap. She's going to walk outside and she's going to see my diving board, and she's also going to see the fact that we disconnected a part of the fence to work on our hot tub. So take it from there, Andrew. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, so we get these great letters and emails in the mail, notice of cancellation. And sure enough, we got one on your property. The insurance company didn't like two things. They didn't like the diving board, and they didn't like that there was not a fence. So anybody could pretty much walk up and use that diving board. And so that's a major concern for the insurance companies, because somebody can get injured, somebody can drown in the pool. And so that's a big thing with home buyers. A lot of people, they have tunnel vision when purchasing properties, and they don't think about the negative things that could possibly happen. They just think about, oh, we're moving into a house. We love this house. We don't care. And then the inspection happens, and then the insurance company will say, oh, you have to do this, that, cut these trees down. You got to put up a fence, take the diving board down.
Mm-hmm.
And then that starts adding up and things that you have to do, and it might cost you money. So, I just take a big proactive approach at the beginning and say, okay, you're gonna need to do these things, or the insurance company's going to have issues.
Right.
Luckily, in your case, the insurance company was willing to work with us, and they gave us time to remove the diving board, to make sure the fence was back up, and now you're fine. They're okay with everything.
Mm-hmm.
There are some companies out there that, had they have seen that diving board, they would have said, nope, we're canceling the policy, we're getting off. Even if you remove it, we don't care, we're getting off.
And that's what I didn't know, and I've been doing this for a long time, and I've represented almost 1,000 people in our market. I did not know that they could come by and cancel, just flat out cancel a policy without some sort of grace period to fix the issue.
No. They give you a grace period. They absolutely give you a grace
Oh, okay.
They do. They give you that grace period. However, in your situation, they said, if you remove the diving board, if you make sure the fence is up, and you provide photos to show us and sign a letter stating you're not going to put the diving board back up, then we will continue your policy.
Right.
But there are companies out there that say, here's a 30-day notice, and by the state law, they have to give you a notice. Here's a 30-day notice. We don't care if you remove the diving board. We're getting off your account.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. I wasn't aware that an insurance company could just say, hey, here's your 30-day notice. You're being canceled, with no opportunity to address the issues that are causing the cancellation. So that's really interesting.
Yeah. So it just depends on the company, but that's where it's so important to do the proper underwriting up front from an insurance standpoint, because it could cause you to, A, have to change companies, and then that could cause an increase in your insurance premiums,
mm-hmm.
or B, it could cost you a lot of money to fix the solution, or to find the solution and fix the problem. One major thing that we are constantly seeing, as I would say the number one issue that we see, are trees and limbs overhanging a roof.
Yeah,
and
I see that all the time.
That's a major thing. And the companies, they pretty much will stay on it, but it's something that if you're working as a realtor, or if you're looking at property and you see these trees overhanging the roof, try to work that into your deal to get those trees cut back, but get the seller to pay for it if you possibly can, so you're not stuck paying for it after the fact. So
right.
Those are just some proactive things to do. Just try to take advantage of whatever you can before you purchase the house, and any other issues that there might be as well.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I will say that, I'll give you props because you came by and you saved the day. We're talking with Andrew Muller of Mappus Insurance. If you're just joining us, we're talking about an insurance issue that I dealt with personally. And so Andrew came to my house and I showed him that we had removed the diving board. He took photos of that. And then they also were under the assumption that I had no fencing along the marsh between the back of my property and where it connects with my dock. And there is, in fact, fencing there. It's just that it's not, solid fencing. It's basically metal chicken wire almost connected to rebar that's stuck way down into the marsh so that I don't have critters and all kinds of stuff coming into my yard. But I appreciate you coming by and doing that for me, because that's ultimately what saved the insurance policy. And based on what you told me, and again, I should know better because I've been doing this for way too long, but you learn something every day. But they could have canceled my policy without giving me the opportunity to address those issues, and then I would have been looking at a higher rate through a different company. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely, because we definitely, if we wouldn't have, squashed those issues, they would have canceled, and if we would have moved your policy, it would have been about a 25% increase in your premiums. So that's why we tackled it so quickly and took care of it. And that's another, one of the big things is, people are just out there, get quotes, and they just want to get the best quote out there. And a lot of insurance agents don't ask these questions about these possible issues.
Right.
And so they write the policy, they close on their house, and then a month later they get that letter, notice of cancellation in the mail. And then they're stuck either spending thousands of dollars fixing the issue, or they're stuck going to a different insurance company and paying higher premiums. And again, something that they possibly could have taken care of before the closing even occurred. But the insurance agent just didn't ask those questions. So make sure you're working with a good insurance agent that's asking all those questions and making sure they're doing all that underwriting up front, so you eliminate those issues.
Well, for me and my clients, that's you. So if anybody has any insurance-related questions, or if they're looking at getting such a quote and getting a policy, how do they get in contact with you?
Certainly. So they can go to our website, which is mappusinsurance.com, MAPPUS insurance.com. Call us at 843-763-4200, or email me personally at andrew@mappusinsurance.com.
Thank you very much, Andrew. I really appreciate you coming on air, and we'll look forward to having you back on the program sometime real soon. Stick around, listeners. This is the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show, and when we come back, we're going to give you a really big market update, which is something I do once a month. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty of the real estate numbers, tell you exactly what's going on in our market here in the Tri-County. So stick around. This is the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA.
Have a real estate question? Ask Brian Beatty. Send him an email, lowcountryhomesales@gmail.com. The Brian Beatty Real Estate Show is on 1250 WTMA. WTMA. Now, here's more of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA.
Welcome back, Charleston, and thanks again for tuning in to the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA. I'm your host, Brian Beatty. We just had Andrew Muller on the line talking about some insurance issues that affected me. And so if there's anything that they can do for you, I really do trust them with all my insurance needs, and I would hope that you'd give them an opportunity. If there's anything they can do to help you out, go to their website, mappusinsurance.com. That's MAPPUS insurance.com. They've got a lot of good information on there. Click on some blogs with some common insurance issues and, become informed. That's what this show is all about. So if there's anything that I can do for you, you're looking at buying, selling, or investing in real estate, I'm one of the top agents in town, have been for a long time, would love the opportunity to earn your business. Feel free to go to my website, listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Learn more about what I do, who I am, what we've sold, and if you're thinking about selling your house, click on the Sell Your Home tab. You can learn more about my 59-day home sale guarantee at 4.5% commission. Or you can give me a call personally, 843-345-1273. That's my cell, 843-345-1273. And I'll also say that I'm in the studio and love to take your calls this morning. Anything real estate related at all. You have a question, comment, concern, complaint, happy to help in any way, shape, or form. The number here in the studio is 843-556-1250. What I'd like to do now is something I do once a month, and it's, for anybody that's been listening to this show for an extended period of time, and the fact that I've been doing this for several years now, they know that I'm a numbers guy, and I really dive deep into the numbers here because it's designed to help you have a better understanding of what's going on in the real estate market. And this is not fluff. Again, if you've been listening to my program, you know that I am not a fluff kind of guy. I'm a very straightforward person. I'm a very transparent person. And I give you these numbers not to do anything other than deliver the facts with regard to our market so that you can make an informed decision. So again, any questions, feel free to give me a call, 843-556-1250, but I'm going to go ahead and run through these numbers. So let's just start, Ferk, with just the general market, the Tri-County area. What I want to focus on with just the general Tri-County area in general is our inventory. Then I'll get into the specifics by county and by the city within those counties. But if we look at just the inventory of properties available, we have 27% less inventory than we did this same amount of time last year. 27% less. And I have to tell you, last year we struggled with some inventory. We have seen a huge increase in closings and in pending sales this year, and we just haven't seen the new listings hitting the market to outpace the number of homes that are being sold. That's why inventory is reducing. If you look at the new listings in the Tri-County area, new listings are up only 10%. but closings are up 15%, and pending sales, meaning properties under contract, is up 20%. So that, of course, is what's having an effect on some of the other issues that revolve around the health of our market. If we look at how much time it's taking to sell a property, on average, it's taking 62 days. Last year, it took 81 days. That doesn't seem like a huge difference, but it's almost a 25% reduction. Homes are selling 25% faster than they were last year. That's kind of a big deal. If you look at the median sales price across the board, it's up 5%. And if you look at the difference between the listing price and the sales price for properties, we're at 96%. You're getting about 4% off on your property. But check this out, because I'm about to get into the other numbers associated with the other counties and areas within those counties. And I'm going to rifle through this information. So listen closely, because I'm going to go fairly quickly. There's a lot of information to get through. But I do want to make sure that I hit your specific area. And again, if you'd like specific information on the sales in your neighborhood, or if you want to know what the value of your home is specifically, go to my website, listingsincharleston.com, click on the contact page, and just put in your information, put in your address. I won't bother you unless I think I have a buyer for your house, or unless you leave me a message that says I'm considering selling and would like to know what my home is worth. But we have a ton of buyers right now looking for properties. We're struggling with inventory. My team personally has almost 80 buyers, 80 buyers that have said they would buy a house before the end of the year if we could just find them the right thing. So we're doing everything we can to try and find inventory for them, and that's the big issue here. But let's start first with Berkeley County. Berkeley County has seen a 13% increase in new listings, a 21% increase in closings. The median sales price is up 10%, and properties are selling in 56 days and for 97% of their asking price. Now, within Berkeley County, if we look at Daniel Island, there's been almost a 15% decrease in new listings. Closings are up 13%. The median sales price is up 10%. The average days on market is 62 days, and properties are selling for almost 99% of their asking price. In Hanahan, new listings are down 1%, but closings are up 37%. The median sales price is up 4%. Homes are selling in 56 days and for 97% of their asking price. In Goose Creek and Moncks Corner in Berkeley County, we've seen a 25% increase in new listings, a 20% increase in closings, a 10% increase in median sales price, and properties are selling in 52 days and for 97.5% of their asking price. Now, the Wando and Cainhoy area of Berkeley County, we've seen a reduction in listings of 1%. Closings are up 27%. The median sales price is up 12%. And if properties are selling in 65 days and for 98.5% of their asking price. Now let's move over to Charleston County. Charleston County has seen an 8% increase in new listings, a 14% increase in closings. The median sales price is up 6%, and properties are selling in 62 days and for 96% of their asking price. In downtown Charleston, the historic portion of the peninsula, we've seen a 21% reduction in new listings. Closings are down 3%. The median sales price is down 9%. And properties are selling in 106 days and for 93% of their asking price. So down Charleston has actually slid back a little bit rather than propelling forward like all these other segments of our market. Now, if you look at the upper portion of the peninsula, new listings are down 10%, closings are down 6%, but the median sales price is up 4%, and properties are selling in 52 days and for 95% of their asking price. That's pretty impressive. Now, if we look over at Dorchester County, I'm sorry, you know what? We're still in Charleston County. I just have some extra papers here that do not apply. Anyways, James Island has seen a 6% reduction in new listings, a 13% increase in closings. The median sales price is up 9%, and properties are selling in 51 days and for 96% of their asking price. Johns Island, we've seen a 54% increase in new listings. That's incredible. A 57% increase in closings. The median sales price is up 1%, and properties are selling in 55 days and for 97% of their inventory. That's all the new construction, by the way, that you're seeing on Johns Island. That's what's driving that. West Ashley, we've seen a 5% increase in new listings, a 9% increase in closings. Median sales price is up 7%. Properties are selling in 47 days and for 96% of their asking price. In North Charleston, new listings are up 10%. Closings are up 26%. Median sales price is up 10%. Properties are selling in 52 days and for 96% of their asking price. Upper Mount Pleasant, this is above the Isle of Palms connector headed north. This is showing an 11% increase in new listings, a 6% increase in closings. Median sales price is up 7%. Properties are selling in 65 days and for 98% of their asking price. In the lower portion of Mount Pleasant, below the Isle of Palms connector headed toward downtown Charleston, we've seen a 10% increase in new listings, a 5% increase in closings, a 10% increase in the median sales price, and properties are selling in 49 days and for 95% of their asking price. Folly Beach, we've seen an 8% increase in new listings, a 28% increase in closings, median sales price is up 14%, and properties are selling in 129 days and for 91% of their asking price. Isle of Palms, we've seen a 4% reduction in new listings. Closings, however, are up 24%. Median sales price is up 5%, and properties are selling in 138 days and for 91% of their asking price. In Dorchester County, we have seen a, you know what, I missed Sullivan's Island there, sorry. We've seen a 19% increase in new listings, a 19% increase in closings, a 5% increase in the median sales price, and properties are selling in 145 days and for 91% of their asking price. And then lastly, in Dorchester County, just Dorchester County in general, we've seen a 12% increase in new listings, a 14% increase in closings, a 6% increase in the median sales price, and properties are selling in 58 days and for 97% of their asking price. Now, obviously in Dorchester County, Somerville takes up the majority of these numbers here, but in Somerville, the greater Somerville area, we've seen an 8% increase in new listings, a 15% increase in closings. Median sales price is up 4%, and properties are selling in 62 days and for 97% of their asking price. In the Dorchester Road corridor of Somerville and the Dorchester County area, we've seen a 19% increase in new listings, a 12% increase in closings. The median sales price is up 9%, and properties are selling in 45 days and for 97% of their asking price. That's the lowest number so far for days on market. And then the Hollywood Ravenel Megad area, we've seen a 50% increase in new listings. Closings are up 27%. The median sales price is up 64% according to this document, but it's because they're only tracking 99 closings. So sometimes you have to take these numbers with a grain of salt. And properties are selling in 90 days and for 94% of their asking price. And then lastly, the rural portion of Dorchester County, we've seen about a 42% increase in closings. We've only had 41 closings so far this year, so don't take much into account with regard to these numbers. But closings are up 28%, median sales price is down 7%, and properties are selling in about 100 days and for about 90% of their asking price. So that's what's going on in our market right now. And I know it's a lot of information, but I also know that a lot of people send me messages saying how much they appreciate this information. So if there's anything that I can do for you, if you want a specific valuation on your house, you want to know what your property's worth, no cost, no obligation, I'm essentially offering you a free appraisal, feel free to give me a call. My number is 843-345-1273, or you can go to my website and put in your contact information, listingsincharleston.com, and you can learn more about who I am, what I do, and if you're thinking about selling your house, remember to click on the Sell Your Home tab. You can learn more about my 59-day home sale guarantee at 4.5% commission. And of course, I'm here in the studio, so feel free to give me a call if you have questions about our market or anything real estate related at all. The number here in the studio is 843-556-1250. Stick around. We'll be right back. This is the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA.
Find Brian Beatty online at listingsincharleston.com. The Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues next on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA. 1250 WTMA. You're listening to the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com.
Welcome back, Charleston, and thanks again for tuning in to the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA. I'm your host, Brian Beatty, and I always like to take just a few minutes to say thank you very much to those of you that tune into this program and use it as an opportunity to learn more about housing and just become more informed with regard to our real estate market. I know the last segment for some is boring because I'm just reading off a bunch of numbers, but for a lot of people, it's helpful to them to understand where exactly their market is in relation to what's going on with regard to Charleston County, and then, of course, all this national news that we get about the housing market. So I try and make sense out of everything, and if there's anything that I can do for you, if you have a general knowledge question, or if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, if there's anything I can do to help you at all, I'd love the opportunity to earn your business. My number is 843-345-1273, or you can go to my website, listingsincharleston.com, and you can learn more about who I am and what I do, and see the properties that I've sold, read some testimonials from past clients. And if you're thinking about selling your house, click on that Sell Your Home tab. You can learn more about my 59-day home sale guarantee at 4.5% commission. So listingsincharleston.com is the website to go to for that. So we discussed last segment how some of these different markets within the Charleston Tri-County area have seen severe differences in terms of the number of listings and closings and price appreciation, or in some instances, price depreciation. You need to take all of this stuff with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, real estate is neighborhood specific. In some instances, it's street specific. But I want to share a story with you that I have had happen to me more this year than I've had happen to me in the past several years, and I'll tell you why. And if you've been listening to this program, you know that I do quite a bit of business. My team and I have sold almost 250 homes over the past 2 years here in the Charleston area, and so we're one of the top agents in town. But as our market continues to improve, and by the way, before I get into this story, I want you to listen, but if you have anything that you'd like to share, maybe you've had some sort of personal experience with regard to selling your home that you'd like to share or that I can weigh in on, feel free to call to the studio. I'm here to answer your calls and to be interactive in this program. So the number here is 843-556-1250, 843-556-1250. But here's what I'm seeing right now. As our market improves, as prices go up, as people are now able to sell their home and make money on the transaction, if you think about all those people that bought their home at the height of the market that were then stuck for the past several years when prices went down, and then while they were waiting for prices to go back up to get to the point where they could sell their house and justify the process of selling and then buying something else. So we have all these people that are now able to do that. They're putting their homes on the market, and in many instances, they're selling quickly. They're selling for top dollar. And overall, it is a seller's market. It's a challenging market if you're a buyer, especially when those properties that are in good condition, that have nice upgrades and that are priced well, hit the market. Those things sell fast. They sell like hotcakes. So here's what's happening. And let's just say that you've decided to sell your home and you've got a fairly good idea of what you think your home is worth. And being an intelligent and well-informed home seller, you schedule appointments with 3 different agents who are selling homes in your areas and have been marketing them for years. They're well-known agents. And so every realtor comes by and they walk through your house and they give you a marketing presentation. And then, of course, they go over the CMA, which is the competitive market analysis that determines what they feel your home is worth and what you should list it for. And of course, in this market, shockingly, the first 2 agents come up with prices that are lower than what you expected, because most sellers are looking what's actively on the market rather than what's under contract and what's sold. Historically, there is a difference between the two. The properties that are on the market are usually higher than the properties that have sold. Think about this. We're in an appreciating market. If prices are going up, then every property that hits the market, if it were the exact same as the home right next to it that sold last month, the home next door should be worth more if it's a rising market. But what's happening is when agents like me give you a realistic idea of what the property is worth, based on comps, based on market trends, and based on the condition and the upgrades within your home and the location of your home, if you're interviewing several agents, it's inevitably going to happen that the third or the last agent that comes in, if they're smart, if they're sneaky, which a lot of agents are, they're going to just listen to you. They're going to say, well, what do the other 2 agents think your home is worth? And the majority of the time, the seller's going to tell you. And so then, of course, being an agent that might be more concerned with just getting a listing for the sake of having a listing rather than helping somebody actually sell it, they're going to say, well, what did you think the home should be listed for? And then, of course, you being the seller, you're going to tell that third agent exactly what they want to hear, because now they know what price you want, and they're going to give it to you. They're going to tell you that price, and they're going to say, well, sure, we can try that price. That's not a problem. We can try it, and we can see if it works, knowing full well that the market won't support that price. But they've just engaged in a practice that we call buying a listing. And so their justification is, look, I'm going to tell them the price that they want to hear. I'm going to try and form some sort of relationship with them. And then maybe at some point later down the road, once they're a little more desperate to sell, or once they've wasted some time and now they really need to sell, then they'll reduce their price. But the problem with that is that it hurts the seller. It does. I'm telling you the truth here. If you put your home on the market and it's substantially overpriced, you have lost your opportunity to get the best price possible for your house. And here's why. When you first put your property on the market, you're essentially marketing to two groups of people. Group number one are the people that are ready, willing, and able to buy a house right now. They just haven't found what they're looking for yet. So they're going to see your house online, or they're going to see it somewhere, and they're going to decide to schedule a showing or not, and they're going to decide to make you an offer or not. If they don't, they're going to go find something else. They're going to go buy something else. They want to buy something now. The second group of people are the people that just choose to enter the market every day. Something changes in their lives. They get a new job. They've got a growing family. They just lost their job. Whatever the case might be, there's a group number two that's always changing. It's ever changing. So in the first 60 days or so of the listing, you're marketing to both groups of people. Group number one, the ready, willing, and able group, and then group number two, the people that are always cycling through it. And then some are added to group one, some stay there because some extenuating circumstance. But either way, if group number one, because they've been looking at properties in that area and are well educated on the market and value in the market, if they see that you're substantially overpriced, guess what? They're not going to give you the time of day. And sellers always ask, well, why don't they just make an offer? Well, it's because buyers understand value and they don't necessarily want to waste their time. If buyers are still in the market, there's a good chance that they've already lost out on a multiple offer situation on something else that they really liked. So they're looking for the properties that check all of the boxes on their list and that they think there's a good value associated with. Look, it doesn't matter if you're buying a t-shirt or you're buying a house. You want to feel as though you're getting a good value. Nobody likes to overpay for anything. So my advice to you when you interview agents is to really focus on the numbers. Here's the big red flag is this. If an agent walks through your house and they're having a conversation with you and they're asking intelligent questions, and it might seem innocent in that they're just talking to you and we're just chatting. And then they ask you some very specific questions about, well, what do you think your house is worth? Or is there a certain number that you're just not going to go below? If you tell them your bottom line right up front, knowing full well that you've interviewed other agents, and they tell you, or you tell the seller, what's the price that you want to sell for, and they answer and say, well, here's the price that I wanted. Of course, that agent's going to give it to you, but here's the problem. Number one, sometimes agents care more about having a sign in the yard and the marketing opportunity associated with your home than they do in actually selling it. So obviously, the more signs they have in the yard, the more calls they're going to get from interested buyers. That's what some sellers don't think about here. And sometimes sellers don't care. Sometimes sellers don't have to sell right now. So they're willing to wait. But at whose expense? Something else you need to think about is that, again, if they're shooting from the hip with regard to a price and they don't have information in front of them that shows the adjustments that they've made for condition and location and upgrades, then all they're giving you is an opinion, not an analysis. When you're selling your home, I think you can agree that whatever the value of your home is, you at least deserve a real estate agent that's going to put some time into giving you an analysis, not just shoot from the hip and say, well, I think we could probably list it for this and sell it close to that number. I mean, how vague is that? Is that impressive to you as a seller? I would hope not. So there's a lot that you need to know when interviewing an agent, but the most important thing is to trust your gut. If you feel as though the agent is not being honest with you and they're just a little too slick, there are some agents in this town that have a reputation for being just a little too slick, then it is your responsibility, quite frankly, to call them out on that and to cover your bases by interviewing other agents. Don't just take the first agent that comes along because it was easy and convenient to just hire the first agent that you see. That's what happens with buyers all the time. Oh, you sell real estate? Yeah, I'm looking to buy a house. Great, let's work together. There's no interview process on the buyer side. That's a little scary. So I tell you what, we're gonna take a break, and I hope that I've given you some things to think about here, especially if you're thinking about selling your house next year. And if that's the case, and you're thinking about selling your house, go to my website, listingsincharleston.com, and input your information. And I'd be willing to bet there's a good chance we have a buyer for your house right now. And if we don't, we might know somebody that does. So listingsincharleston.com is the website. And stick around. This is the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA.
Stay tuned for more of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. WTMA. Now, the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues on Charleston's Big Talker, 1250 WTMA.
Welcome back, Charleston, and thanks again for tuning in to the final moments here of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA. We've already talked about a lot this morning. We've talked about insurance. We've talked about what's going on in our market. We've talked about what you need to know if you're going to sell your house. And just to finish up that thought, you know, the big question that I think a lot of people have when they're selling their house is, how do I know that this agent is being honest with me? The best way for you to determine that is to educate yourself on the process associated with formally interviewing an agent so that you ask the right questions and so that you're in control of that process rather than letting the agent take you through it start to finish. I think it's important for you to understand that. So if there's anything that I can do to help you sell your home or buy a property, invest in real estate, or just answer a general knowledge question, I'm here to help in any way, shape, or form. Feel free to call me directly at 843-345-1273. Again, that's 843-345-1273. Or go to my website, listingsincharleston.com. And I do want to say one more quick thing because I've got somebody on the line here. If you're thinking about selling your house, we have a database right now of about 80 people that have said they will buy a home by the end of the year or make an offer on a home by the end of the year if we can find them the right property. So I am doing everything that I can to find inventory that's not currently listed. So if you're thinking about selling your house, maybe you don't want to go through the process of having a whole bunch of showings and having people tramps through your house, but contact me and I'll let you know if I have a buyer. And if you're interested in selling, I'll work with you on that process. So go to listingsincharleston.com and I can help you through that. So I want to switch gears here for the last few minutes, and I want to talk to my good friend, Bill Sandvig of Movement Mortgage, who has a show right before me at 8 o'clock on Saturdays. Bill, you there?
I am here. Thanks, Brian.
My pleasure. It was good being on your show for a little while this morning, and I appreciate you returning the favor and being on my show here at the 9 o'clock hour. You know, you were talking about something last hour that, unless you've been listening to this program for the past hour and a half, which you should be if you want to know what's going on in real estate, but you told a story that is very, very important for people to understand if they're going to buy a house. So if you don't mind, just go through that story really quickly, and then I want to weigh in as you go.
Yeah, sure. So what Brian's talking about here is that we had a client that was shopping lenders as they should, being a good consumer, and the bank that they settled on, the reason that they settled on this particular bank was because this bank had told them that they could buy the most house with their bank. So they qualified for more house with this particular lender than they did with another two. And so great. They got qualified for more house. They wanted to move forward. And as the process started to continue down the path and they were getting ready to make offers, a very savvy agent on your team spoke to this lender and said, well, we have this pre-qualification letter, but I'd really like to have a pre-approval letter or a full approval letter. So when we go out and make offers, we're in a stronger position because we know that they've already been through underwriting. They're already fully approved. And we're going to have more leverage going into that transaction. Well, this bank, who had said they could buy more house than anyone else had told these customers, said, well, I can't do that for you because I can't collect it's illegal for us to collect the income and asset documentation and verify it before they go under contract. And so if you think about that, how can you even know what someone qualifies for or what they're capable of qualifying for if you haven't verified the information that you need to say they can buy a house?
Right, yeah. So if you miss that, which is an incredible thing to me, because I've been doing this for 10 years, I've represented almost 1,000 people over that 10-year period, but a buyer agent on my team is representing my younger brother's best friend. My younger brother's best friend went to his bank and he got pre-qualified to go buy a house. I told him to also speak with you, Bill, and speak with one other lender so that he's covering his bases and that he's comfortable with the person that he ultimately works with. Well, he chose that bank because they said you could afford more house, but they would only give him a pre-qualification letter. So the agent on my team representing him said, hey, well, wait a minute. I want a pre-approval letter, not just a pre-qualification letter. And they said, I'm sorry, we can't do that. That's illegal until we have a ratified contract.
I mean,
I honestly have not been this shocked on the lending side of this industry in years. Frankly, I'm a little disgusted. I'm borderline pissed.
I mean, good on your team to identify those red flags. I mean, you have someone who's telling them they can buy more house with us, but we can't verify the information that we need to know to tell you that you can buy that much house. And so, I mean, that is a huge red flag that this person's going to go out and expose themselves to buying more house, going under contract. And then when the documents start rolling in, they've spent money on appraisals. They spent money on inspections. The seller is starting to pack up. The seller goes out maybe and makes an offer on their new house. And this snowball starts to take place where people are spending money and time and energy. And when the push comes to shove and the rubber meets the road, we find out, oh, you can't afford that house. You can't afford that much house. Now that we've seen your pay stubs, now that we've seen your tax returns, you can't buy that house. And what a nightmare that is when that takes place.
Yeah, and but before they made an offer on a property, I've been talking to this buyer for the past 6 months, preparing him for home ownership. He's doing an FHA loan. He's a cook. He doesn't make a lot of money. He's like a lot of people that are buying their first house. He has saved up his down payment. He's going to have the seller pay his closing costs. But if I were not careful, and if I put that buyer in a position where I'm not crossing the T's and dotting the I's and looking at everything to protect my client, if this buyer pays for an inspection and he pays for an appraisal and he loses his earnest money, which is going to cost about $2,000 all said and done, he's done. He cannot buy a house for another 6 months because that's how long it takes him to save money.
Yeah, what a great point. That's a great point, Brian. I mean, it's so important to take that step and get fully approved. I mean, that's why my company, Movement Mortgage, we are pressing for every single consumer to get fully approved through underwriting. So prior to writing that contract, you're in a strong negotiating position. And I think if we finish this story, they actually the client ended up making an offer, and they lost out to someone else who was fully approved because their position was weaker, not having a fully approved offer at the time of the transaction. So
that's right.
Even though they might have, I think that they made even a higher priced offer than the person who took the house. And it's kind of what we've been preaching for you. You preach to your clients, I preach to my clients, is you've got to get through underwriting. Put yourself in that position of power so that when you go into that negotiation and you and your team are negotiating on behalf of your clients, you've got the leverage.
That's right.
You want to do everything you can do to stand out.
That's right. And at the end of the day, I'm a real estate agent. I can't force my client to do anything. But when I give a recommendation or I give advice, it's based on previous experience. And unfortunately, this buyer had to learn a tough lesson because he made the decision with all the information, and ultimately he missed out on a house that he really wanted to buy. And sometimes we need to learn those tough lessons in order to have them sink in. Sometimes you just got to be... you got to have those tough lessons. But anyways, Bill, how can people get in touch with you if they want to get a mortgage or refinance or just have any sort of lending questions?
Sure. They can reach me best way. Go to my website at lowcountrylending.com. Reach out to me personally on my cell phone, 843-300-7870. Got a local team of about 20 people here to serve, if you're out there. So we're happy to help. So thanks so much for having me on the show, Brian. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Great show today.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Bill. All right, well, that about does it for us here at the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA. Remember that if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, you deserve an agent that has the experience to help you through that transaction. So feel free to call me personally at 843-345-1273. That's 345-1273. Or go to my website, listingsincharleston.com. Thanks again for tuning in, and have a great weekend, Charleston. This is the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show.
Join us for another edition of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show next Saturday morning at 9 and Sunday morning at 10. Contact Brian Beatty online at listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Or call him at 843-345-1273. 843-345-1273.